It's time for the MD and Chef Team Show.
Let's go!
The content in this show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician or health professional. Listeners and viewers should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health and wellness concerns and questions. And now, let's start the MD and Chef Team Show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael, nutritional chef and health coach and brain health expert here at Doctoronamission. And I am joined, as always, by my beautiful hottie bride, your doctor on a mission, Isabel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're so glad you're here with us. This is going to be a day you will not forget. I'm telling you, you won't. So stay tuned.
Well, I'm looking forward to remembering all about this day.
Yes.
It's going to be an exciting one, huh?
It already has started that way.
Yes, it usually is. In our life, there's always something good and fun and exciting and ups and downs going on.
And kapows.
And kapows.
We've had a couple of those today, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we're here.
That happens. That happens. MD and Chef Team Show, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are live, so in the comments, you can bring questions in there, and we'll do our best to get to them. If you happen to catch us on replay, you can still add some questions in there. We'll get back with you. Comments, bring it on. We are here. We are live. You know, before we get going, I do have to throw in some current events in life. So, you know, yes, we are not AI generated. We are real people.
Does that really happen? Do these shows really, are these shows, these YouTube shows AI generated?
I would imagine somewhere out there somebody's working on something.
Okay, well, we're not. We're like not. Real. Okay. Gosh, that's wild, isn't it?
You know, we're coming from you here in the North Island of New Zealand, and last week we had one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. I mean, I've been driving an automobile for over 50 years now with my driver's license.
This.
Yes, I know. We almost forgot about it. How could we? And basically, we had a 4-hour drive last week to do some governmental type things for an upcoming move we've got happening in about 3 months. But we happened to drive in a cyclone that day. There was no warning, nothing out there. Left the house about a half hour down the road, hour down the road. The wind kept picking up. The rain kept picking up. And
trees were getting split in half, and trucks were getting thrown over on their side. And we were like, Michael's been driving for 45 years. With me. I have never, ever seen his knuckles white. You see that? You see how white that is? That was Michael for 4 hours. And I was like, okay, you can do this,
yeah,
babe.
That was a wild experience.
Let me know if you want me to take over. You're like, you can't
I can't
take
let
over.
go of the wheel. Yeah, go ahead, take over. Yeah, I mean, at times you could barely feel the wheels on the ground. It was amazing. I mean, I've never driven in conditions like that ever in my life, and it was crazy. I mean, obviously, if we had known, we wouldn't have done it, but we got out there, and through the grace of God, we got there safely. We got things taken care of. The rest of the day was still kind of crazy, and a lot happened, but what an experience we will always remember.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, so that's life.
Yeah.
Things happen.
We're still alive.
And we're still good to go.
Yeah.
So here we are. My dear, there's probably some people here today are new to the MD and Chef Team Show. You want to just give them a little brief synopsis of what we're all about, what they can expect here on the show?
I'd love to. So for those of you who don't know,
And by
us,
the way, we like to have fun.
No, we never have any fun. That's against all the rules. So for those of you who don't know us, we're about 3 things so that you know whether to stay with us or say bye-bye. Number 1 is healthcare. Look, I have been a medical doctor since 1991. I've seen over 500,000 people face to face, and I know their hearts, and I know how hard things are. And it's crazy for us to think that healthcare starts in a doctor's office. It doesn't. Healthcare starts in your home, right where you are. And a lot of this stuff, okay, I'm going to be bold and courageous, and I'm going to say 95% of the diseases that you are experiencing or that the world's experiencing are preventable and reversible. That's what you're going to get here. Number 2, relationship. Michael and I have been together for 45 years. And I'm hoping and praying for another 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 35.
Yeah, keep on going.
So I'll be 100 and you'll be 102.
I'll be 102.
I know. And I like Michael and I.
I'll be the senior in the group.
And we've learned a few things along the way, and we would love to save you time, pain, and a lot of money.
I'll be 102 saying, yeah, I'm hanging out with a younger woman. Oh my gosh, what? Yeah, she's 100.
And then number 3 is hope. Giving you the hope that we have found in Jesus Christ. He's given us the blueprint on how to do the world, so we're just following it. And if you want to come along and join with us, we're here to share. So our show is broken up into teaching about preventing and reversing disease. The second part is relationship, and then the third part is inspiration, so that you take off with hope in your hand and in your heart. That's us.
That's us.
As you can tell, I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So do you have a question to ask me, my dear?
Oh, yes, I do.
That's called a prompt.
Yes. Babe, what are we going to be talking about now?
Well, our wellness part of the show today, we're going to be talking about something that's I'm very passionate about, and I'll explain a little bit more of my story why. The title of this part is Building Better Brains, How Nutrition Shapes Your Child's Brain. This is very important. This is something that I never really knew about as a chef in my early days. It wasn't something that was taught. I have a feeling that in the healthcare system, it's not something that's taught either, about how the development of children's brains are in the first part of the years. And so today, I want to let you know, I'm going to take a 30,000-foot view of this, because we're going to talk about how the role of nutrition is so important in the development of children's brains, and just understand our brain isn't fully developed until the age of 25 and then beyond. Of course, as adults, we can do wrong things too through nutrition to our brain, but the early childhood is so important for the development of the brain with children. But I am going to take a big view of this, because we could, spend hours and hours in getting into the real guts of this. So I just want you to know, as we get into this, I'll take a big view of it here in the show. But later on, if you're wanting to know a lot more of the details and specifics, I do have a resource that you can grab, and I'll talk about that later on. That'll give some more specifics on more of the hows, shall I say. But today I want to concentrate on the why. Why do we care about our child's brain development? Now, that sounds like a crazy question, but it's really not something that's posed by the healthcare system, by schools, by education, by society. We're not, as parents, we're not really, we don't say like, oh, so what are you doing for your child's brain development?
But a lot of parents are, and those are the ones that are here.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are here.
We're starting to learn, but generally,
yes,
in society, it's not something that we think about of developing our child's brain.
But you do.
Well, and so
why do you?
I'm going to
jump
into that now, and you can help at any time. You can help out along the way. Like that'll happen. And the reason why I want to say that why I'm so passionate about this is we have two beautiful young daughters. They're 22 months apart. And we made the decision that I would be, whatever term you want to use, the at-home dad, house husband, the full-time caregiver, any one of those descriptions. But I was the full-time parent at home with the girls while Isabel was out doing learning the medical profession and growing and having that career. And so I understand. I mean, we had a couple kids under the age of 2 in diapers, that whole thing going on. But when they became, let's say, the age of 1, 3, 2, 4, and they started eating solid foods, that's when I really started to become aware of this and started to think, well, I might need to be thinking about what am I feeding them? Because this really, it just started to hit me that this is important, that I've got a responsibility here and there's something going on and you know, I need to look at maybe changing my habits personally about what I was having nutritionally and then passing that on to our 2 young daughters. So I do understand if you had children and you might say, oh, I'm just so busy, I don't have time for it. I get that. Been there, done it. I understand the fact that other ways that, as we talk about nutrition, might not be the most nutritious, but it's easy and quick, because I was there. In talking about this, I'm going to talk about the why today. Why do we even need to care about this? But even for myself, I want to say back in the day, it wasn't like I was always on with the nutrition and it was just perfect all the time. Did we go to McDonald's? Did I take the girls to McDonald's? Yes,
because they had the ball pit.
Back in that day, they had the ball pit and all that stuff and the slides and everything.
And the slides, they don't anymore?
I think they got rid of the ball pit because it was so unsanitary.
It was pretty gross.
But they still got all the slides and things like that, I think.
Yeah.
However, in having said that, yes, it was a great babysitter.
Yeah,
it was a great child care sitter because sometimes you
great.
just need a break. And we lived in Colorado. It was wintertime. Sometimes I just got to get out of the house. And so, however, what I do want to say is it wasn't a lifestyle as far as we didn't just go there every day or every meal. I actually reverted back to what we did. And when I was growing up as a child with my parents, it was Dad got paid on a Friday and we would go out to eat at fast food like a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Whopper place or whatever. And that was the special treat on Friday night because Dad got paid.
Once a month?
No, once a week.
Oh, was it once a week? Okay.
It was once a week.
Okay.
Dad got paid and once a week. But it wasn't a lifestyle of that's just what we did. And somehow we've evolved into that a little bit more where it becomes just this lifestyle of going to those things. So yes, I did, but however, I did need to understand that it wasn't going to be our lifestyle. It was a special treat. And it worked well because it became a special treat for the kids. So I do understand as a parent your trials and tribulations. I do understand about picky eaters. I do understand about time and all that goes on there. Now, if you got more than 2 kids, that part I don't understand because we only had 2. If you had more, you had 3 and more and 4, 5, 6 and beyond, hallelujah, bless you. Bless you. You can do that. That's a lot. But today I want to talk about the role of nutrition and brain health for development for our kids. Because here's a statement for you. To understand that what they eat literally shapes how their brains are going to grow and function, especially in the early childhood days. The foods we give our kids and the drinks we give them in those early childhood days are the foundations for the growth of their cognitive wellness, how their brains are going to develop, how their thinking is going to be, the emotional stability in the early days. So let's talk about why it matters so much. Let's talk about a big truth. Here's a big truth. the brain only consists of 2% of our body weight, but it is probably the most energy hungry organ in the body, because especially at a young age for children, it uses up to 50% of your caloric energy coming in, what you're eating and drinking. It uses up to 50% of that energy that's coming in is used by the brain and its development, but it's only 2% of the body weight of the organ. So understanding that as that's what we're eating and drinking is actually, I like to use the term of Legos. I think we all kind of understand what Legos are, and you put Legos together and build something. Well, our eating and drinking energy blocks of what we're having are like Legos, putting them together and developing a brain. And imagine if you're trying to develop this building of a brain and it's got these mismatched pieces and going all over the place. Well, we can end up with a brain that's not developing well and isn't as efficient as we'd like it to be, because I'm sure this is for caregivers, parents, educators, anybody that's got kids, knows somebody with kids, maybe your grandparents, and you want to pass this on. But this is so important to understand. This is about the why, that nutrition is so important in those younger days for the development of the brain. Mm-hmm. Any comments?
Nope, I agree.
Okay.
And that, were you going to, no, I'll wait
go
until,
ahead.
I see you're going to talk about that. So I'll just, remember
So definitely in those early days, and I'm talking, again, up until 25 to develop our brain, but I'm talking about the years like, birthing right on through to maybe about the age of 16 or 18, that brain is just really developing, especially those first 10 years. What we're eating and drinking is making such a difference. Because when nutrition is adequate, when we're on, and I'll speak a little bit more about this, but when our nutrition is adequate, it's on, and we've got good nutrition, children tend to have stronger memory, they got better focus, they got better attention, and they have higher academic achievement. These are the things that have been proven through research. Now, when nutrition is poor, and we'll talk about what that may be, then that can lead to longer term problems. Again, it might not happen right away, but it can lead to longer term problems because of the way the brain is developing. It's creating poor connections with the neurotransmitters in our brain. It can cause emotional instability, a lot of mood problems, mental health problems.
Hyperactivity, problems sleeping, problems focusing in school.
Yes, all of the above. And also delayed language and motor skills, because the brain isn't developing optimally because of what we're feeding it. Again, we're building the Legos. I like to use that terminology because we all understand that as kids, we're building a beautiful Lego building of the brain. But with poor nutrition, we got mixed match pieces and it's not coming together well. And so sometimes we may wonder, well, what's going on here? Why is there, delays in the skills, or maybe what's wrong with the attention or the focus? So one of the main areas we need to look at is what is the nutrition that's feeding the building blocks of the brain. So let's talk about some key nutrients for brain development. Now, one is what's called omega-3 fatty acids. So the brain's made up of about 60% fats.
60% fat. Your brain is 60% fat. The way I like to explain it is your brain is like a block of butter. Yeah, and that's your brain. It's soft and it's 60% butter. So we want to make sure it's the right fats.
So when I talk about fats, some examples might be avocado, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, and not having processed oils or fried foods, those types of ones, as we talk about the ones not to have, those are the ones we want to stay away from. Again, I'm just giving you some examples where we're just talking about the big picture of the why does this really matter today, and I'll give you some hows in a little bit. Also, let's see what else you want to. Protein. Protein is very important for the development of the brain. It provides the amino acids, the building blocks for the neurotransmitters of the brain. So when we're talking about proteins, things like eggs and meat and fish and chicken, if you happen to be vegan or vegetarian, making sure you get proper proteins, good clean proteins. So it does matter, what types of proteins, because we want to stay, let's just say grass-fed. If you can do organic, fantastic, but at least if you could do grass-fed, stay away from the grain-fed. But just thinking about the proteins are so important to feed the brain.
It's a macronutrient.
It's a macronutrient. Proteins, fats, carbs, carbohydrates. Let's address carbohydrates briefly because I'm a fan of carbohydrates.
Me too.
Yeah.
But the right carbohydrates.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because that word carbohydrates is just so bashed that, I'm cut out carbohydrates, or I'm low carbohydrate, or whatever it may be. And that's not really the key, because carbs is one of our three main macronutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. It's about what are the carbohydrates we're having. You could have a Big Mac carbohydrate, or you could have a nice salad with vegetables carbohydrates. Because what I find very interesting is, and maybe you do know, maybe you don't know, but when I talk to people about carbohydrates and explaining that broccoli is a carbohydrate,
or red onion.
Or red onion's a carbohydrate. Tomatoes a carbohydrate. Yeah. Spinach is a carbohydrate. Most people don't understand that. You might know, you're an educated group out there, but a lot of people don't know that veggies, greens, fruits, all the nice, beautiful one-ingredient foods, I call them, that don't have labels on them. A carrot's a carrot. It doesn't need a label of 12 ingredients. That those are carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are fantastic. It's the carbohydrates we're having. So you do want to make sure you are getting the good carbs. And then vitamins and minerals. We want to make sure we're getting good iron, because that helps carry oxygen to the brain. We want to make sure we got good iron, zinc, iodine, foods that have B vitamins, all these types of things. One of the keys is to look at a plate of food and just think of all the colors. That's a key for all of us, but especially for kids. Look at a plate of food and just think of all the colors on there. Because if it's a plate of food that's kind of all like beige color, like the color of this wall behind us, there's probably not much fruits and veggies and greens and those things going in there. It's pretty generic stuff. So just think of the rainbow and all the colors of the foods, because each color represents a different vitamin and mineral that's in the food. Each color has different types of properties. So food that's orange, blue, purple, green, red, yellow, they all have different properties in those foods. So think of the rainbow of foods and how you can mix and match all those goodies. So let's
natural colors.
Natural colors, yeah.
Not
a blue,
not synthetic colors.
Right, not a blue.
Not
water.
like a plate of Skittles, okay?
Yeah,
that's
good,
not what we're talking
good
about.
Clarification there. Natural colors. Not like a blue water, a green water, an orange water, a yellow water.
Yeah.
No, those are
real colors.
Franken foods. Those are Franken drinks. They're made with chemicals to make them colored like that. No, I'm talking about
your
like
poor
a tomato.
Body.
That's
yes,
a red
I know.
tomato.
I already. Yes, I think they got
it. Yeah. So what happens when nutrition is inadequate? Because we're talking about the development of the brain and why it's so important in these young years. When the brain doesn't get what it needs, it's not just the physical, because a lot of times we think when we're talking about nutrition, it's from the neck down. What I'm talking about here is the development of the brain in the early years. When our nutrition is not adequate, it's not just physically, but it's the brain, it's the cognitive development, it's the emotional development, all that development and memory development, attention, focus, all those things don't come together the way they should. Now, maybe they will eventually. They could be slowed, they could be thrown off. There could be early disorders that are developed because of slow developing brain. So this is so important for the nutrition in the brain. Kids can struggle with concentration, have emotional outbursts, learning difficulties, even behavioral challenges. So it's important. That's basically what I say. The thing to understand is they're not bad habits. A lot of times we see maybe a child that's out of control or something. And I know this from being an at-home dad parent. I've seen this many times. It happened to me with our girls that, okay, what parent doesn't know about the afternoon
bewitching hour?
Bewitching hour, 4 in the afternoon, somewhere along there just crashing and screaming and hollering. It's just, it doesn't go well. That's that low blood sugar crash. Maybe they've had some sugars, or maybe they've had something at school, or they've come home, or they haven't eaten. Their blood sugars are low. They need to get a little something, or maybe they've had a whole bunch of sugars after school or coming home from school. They get home, a little bit of energy, and then boom, it is screaming and hollering. So a lot of times, remember, when you see kids out there that are misbehaving, it might not be that, oh, that kid is just a bad kid, they don't know how to behave. They might be nutritionally deficient in what's going on. They might not have that opportunity to develop properly with their brain in their nutritional way. So give them some grace. And if it's somebody you know, or there's an opportunity to say, hey, could I help out in this area? And maybe, it's something you can pass on, or even, as I talked to you about, a free resource that you could be passing on to somebody. But just know that it's not always bad habits. The child could just be
bad nutrition
because of, they've had all day is sugar, and they're just crashing. All right.
Very true.
Yes. So let me give you a couple practical tips before then I give you some info about more of the how. But what I wanted to do is paint that picture so we understand, well, why should I even care what my kids are eating and drinking? The development of the brain is happening, at that early age. I'm going to go back to that statement. 50% of your energy input, eating and drinking, is being used up by your brain, by the brain of a child in that early age. Now, as adults, we only use about 25% of that energy for our brain, which is still a lot. But for kids, 50% of that input, 50% of what's going in is building those Legos of the brain and putting together the right parts. So it's so very important. Okay, so what can we do? Some practical tips. This was one I needed to understand from the very beginning, because I had to change some massive habits. Model what you want them to do. If you want them to eat veggies. Because to say, oh, I want you to eat your broccoli. Oh, okay, well, Dad, I've never seen you eat broccoli. Oh, well, I don't eat it, but you should eat that. We have to model what we want them to do. And so the other one is...
Be the example. No, I'm like, yeah. Be the example.
I mean, we have to eat nutritiously if we expect our kids to eat nutritiously. It's just...
We're the mama and papa ducks, and they're the little duckies, and they're going to follow whatever we do.
Yes. Yeah. So model
Very
it.
deep.
So
be the leader.
And and I go back a little bit to that whole McDonald's thing, or whatever fast food you want to use at the beginning. I used it as a weekly treat. Once a week, we'd go out and we'd do that for fun, but it wasn't lifestyle, because if I was doing that all the time and they saw Dad going through the drive-through with them all the time, and then I told them, well, I don't expect you to eat that stuff all the time. Well, that's not going to work. That's not modeling what we need to model. Get your kids involved in the kitchen. That was, for me, it was easier, yes, because I'm a chef. But for all of us, get them involved. I mean, they can learn how to cook some eggs. They can learn how to hard boil some eggs.
And you can make it fun. You can go to the secondhand shop and you can get like these French little caps and a little scarf around their neck. And we've been getting ready for the move, and we've been looking at some old pictures, and there are kids in the kitchen.
Aprons on in the kitchen.
They got flour on their nose, and they got the French hat and the scarf, the chef scarf.
Yeah, and taught them how to use a knife at an early age.
And now they call us and they tell us what they're creating. And we're like, wow. So this time is really important.
Get them involved. Get aprons for everybody and bring them into the kitchen and do some
Make
fun
it
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, because there's some basics that they can learn. And it serves them well the rest of their life. Because if they don't know how to cook, and they get out in the world, it's just going to be takeaways and stuff in cans and boxes and that type of stuff.
And sachets.
And sachets.
Sachets here in New Zealand are packages that you just kind of pull apart.
Another one.
Another tip we learned here.
Another tip is plan meals ahead or do like a weekly planner. Again, I can help you out with a little bit on that as we talk here in a moment. One thing I used to do is when I got an opportunity, I would start to plan meals ahead and have foods ready because it's best to batch. I call it batching, where if I am in the kitchen doing stuff, I'm going to make enough for now and maybe a couple other meals, and I'll just put some in the freezer, but just learn to plan ahead. Do your best to plan ahead because it will save you time, because when you don't have the time, and everybody's hungry, guess what? It's probably not going to be good because they're all going to reach for something quick. So plan ahead. Breakfast. Here is a very, very biggie. Breakfast is so important heading out the door. I've heard so many times from people about their kids in school where those first couple hours, they start off for the first half hour or so, they're okay, and then boom, within an hour, they are crashing, they've lost focus, they're just fidgety, they're all over the place. And a lot, that has to do with what have they had for breakfast? So please remember, for breakfast, it can't be just those empty carbs. And what I mean by that is it can't just be cereal and a piece of toast. They need to have protein, fat, and the carbs. And if you can get some good carbs in them, that would be fantastic, even if it's just some kind of vegetable or something like that. But okay, if you want to have some cereal or a banana or something, that's fine, or a little bit of fruit. But also, what's their protein? What kind of protein are they going to have? Is there some kind of an egg?
So what are you recommending? A steak for breakfast? Chicken?
Oh, hey, if you want to. But,
turkey.
Whatever it is,
salmon.
Your choice. Yeah.
I mean why not start training them early?
Hey, yeah. If you're vegetarian, have some tofu or something like that.
Yeah.
But also just some egg or some kind of a protein heading out the door. It could be a piece of, if you eat ham or something like that.
Or tuna, some protein.
But just some protein has to be
Or a protein shake, hon.
A protein shake.
They can have a protein shake.
Yeah, turn that into some kind of like a protein
fun
smoothie
protein shake.
Yeah.
With frozen berries.
Yeah.
And coconut milk and protein powder.
Yeah. And good fat. Making sure you get some fat.
Yeah.
So
maybe some tahini.
Even if you had some
or almond butter.
And you are just firing away.
Well, I'm just thinking about what we do.
Yeah. There's so many different things.
When we're in a hurry for breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the key is...
Okay.
The key is with that breakfast and heading out the door where it's not just, yes, carbs are great, but not the empty carbs where there's just not much nutritional value. And that's like having cereal and a piece of toast. Throw some sugar on there and some milk. That's not going to work because... No. Yeah, it'll give them an instant boost, but in about an hour, they're going to crash and they're going to struggle in the early part of that day at school. Okay, so make sure protein, carb, and fat for breakfast. That's a key. All right. So the key takeaway today is nutrition in the early ages isn't just to fill your kid's stomach. yes, it's great. We can give them food and drink and keep them alive, because that was one thing I always said to Isabel. She'd come home and she'd go, how's it going?
Are they still alive?
And I'd say, yep, I kept them alive. But it's not just about filling up their tummy. What we need to understand is we're also developing their brain at that age with what they're eating and drinking. So we want to give the kids the right tools. We want to help them to get their best chance in life, because we all want the best for our kids. We all want our kids to do better than us in life. That's just, as parents, I've always understood that we want our kids to have a better life than us. We want them to do better than us, and we want them to fly and do amazing.
Yes.
So this is an opportunity in the early days for us to give them the best chance by allowing their brains to develop optimally in the early days, by making some decisions that we are going to have the best in health through nutrition to feed that brain and develop and give them the best Legos to put this brain together. So that's a little bit about the why, because sometimes we don't understand, well, why should I bother? It's so important. Now, in the how, let me just bring something up here. In the how, and you want to learn more, okay, great, I need to do this, I need to do that, but how do I do all this? I mean, I need some more. Okay, on our website, Doctoronamission.com, a how. Smart Eating for Smart Kids, Fueling Your Child's Brain for Success guidebook. This is a free resource we have on our website. You can go on to Doctoronamission.com and download it. Again, free. Here's what's in there. I've got things in there. The key nutrients for brain development. You'll get a little bit more about that. Brain boosting foods. Okay, now I get into more description of what are the foods you'll need for brain boosting and some recipes. Healthy snack ideas. That's a biggie. I know that for parents. So it's got healthy snack ideas. Also, another biggie in here. I've got a chapter on strategies for picky eaters. Yeah, that's a biggie. And then also encouraging a lifelong love of healthy eating. That's important. Not that oh gosh, I got to do this. No, encouraging and helping them to understand why this is so important. And so that download is on Doctoronamission.com. It's called Smart Eating for Smart Kids, Fueling Your Child's Brain for Success. I got a lot of details in there. It really goes into many, many chapters of goodness. And if you want to know more about the how, because today we talked about the why, go on to Doctoronamission.com and grab that guidebook today. And if you know somebody who you can help with that, maybe you're a grandparent, you can pass that on, or if you've got a friend that maybe wants some help with their child's brain health, you can do that. And that's over on Doctoronamission.com. All righty, my dear.
Bravo.
Thank you. What you got? We're going relationship now, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I love that you were the stay-at-home dad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. But during the time, it was not that you weren't so proud.
Well, I grew into it.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to understand the importance of it. You know, I wasn't someone who thought of the importance of the responsibility of being a parent and the person being at home. You know?
You really can relate to parents.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas I can't. Because I was never the stay-at-home parent.
Well, you're a parent, but you just weren't the at-home parent.
I wasn't the at-home parent. I was the outside parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can relate to that. So good. Because we need balance.
Thank you.
And you bring balance.
And in balance, let's talk relationship.
Let's talk about relationship. Okay, are you ready? Do you have your wedding ring on? Well, hang on tight. Well, this is not just for marriage. This is for any relationship, friendship, workspace, family, marriage. And I've entitled this Allowing Time to Process The pause that heals relationships. And of course, this is only because Michael and I had a little story this week where I was like, I got to teach about this. But today we're going to talk about something that does not get enough credit in relationships. And that is allowing time for people to process what you're saying to them. You know that moment when you're having a discussion, a conversation, an argument, and the emotions start getting heated and, you know, you're starting to, you're ready to lash out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, you know that you feel tense and one person wants to fix it right now. That's me. That's my personality. I'm like, let's get this all taken care of right now. While the other person just needs a little space. I know. Opposites do really attract, huh?
That's funny.
Wow. I'm just like, wow, I'm still realizing this after all these years. Like, you and I are so different. But that's good, right? Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to be diving into.
I think if we were both one way or both the other way, I'm not quite sure how that would work.
It would be ugly. Because sometimes the best thing to do in that situation during that time in your relationship is to pause. So here's the story. I always wake up in the morning. Michael always seems to wake up earlier than I do. He waits for me to make coffee, which I love doing, okay? And it's good that he waits. So I woke up this Sunday, and I woke up and I was thinking, yep, I want us to do that investment. I'm going to tell him right now, yep, let's go for it. So I woke up, walked out of the bedroom, looked at him, and I said, babe, yep, let's do that investment. I definitely want to do it. And this was his look. And I was like, this is me inside. I did not let this come outside of my body, but the inside of me felt rejected. The inside of me was like, hey, what are you talking about? We have talked about this. Why are you looking like a stunned deer in headlights?
Yeah, deer in headlights.
A deer in headlights. Why are you looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about? Could it be because you don't have coffee? No, I don't think so. It's because you are like, I don't know. But I got like a download from the Holy Spirit to say, Isabel, step away from the buffet. Do not engage in argument. Michael is processing. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Thanks for that. I needed that because I am ready to go, hey, what's the matter with you? But I didn't. Aren't you proud of me?
You did very
I
well.
am learning so much. I get a star.
Oh, that star just slapped on there.
So here's what happened. I made the coffee with love. I didn't spike it with any cayenne pepper. And I gave it to him, and I didn't say anything else because I did not say anything else. So we went to church, and the whole time in church I was worshiping, and I was just saying, Lord, show Michael the light to this investment. We've talked about this. Show him the light. And I didn't say anything else. And then as we do on Sunday, we went out to breakfast. I didn't say anything in the car. I did not bring it up. I promised God I was not going to bring this up anymore. I casted all my cares onto God, and I said, you got this. Go get him, God. And he did. It's great what Papa God will do for you when you just go straight to him. So then we went and we ordered, and I was sitting down, and then Michael came and sat next to me, and he turned towards me. Do you remember this?
Go ahead.
He turned towards me and he put his arms around me, and I knew it was going to be good. And he goes, yeah. And he started to talk about the investment. And I was like, oh, I felt so good that I did not blow up earlier. Because then it's just, it's not good when you blow up. So we went ahead and did the investment. So here's my point.
And if I may.
Of course you may, babe. And you are part of the story.
And for me, as the processor, shall I say, is that yes, we have been talking about it, but we hadn't come to a conclusion. And in talking about it was like, well, yeah, here's the reasons we should, here's the reasons we shouldn't. And we talked about the pros and cons, and then we left it at that. And then when you came out, you had made the decision, but I hadn't made the decision yet. And so you made the decision and said, yep, let's do this. And so then I had to come to my own conclusion of doing that. And for me, it's like, okay, I'm the type of person, if I'm in, I'm in. I'm all in. However, I'm not going to be all in until I know I'm all in.
I know.
And
you're good about that.
For me, that's a little bit of a process because I have in the past gone all in quickly and it hasn't gone well. And so I've learned, I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be all in. When I say go, we go. However, I'm going to make sure when I get to that point, nothing's ever 100%. Nothing's 100%. But I'm going to be 99% sure, yep, let's go. And so that's a little bit of my process.
Right. And I had already gone to God with this.
Yeah, you had already.
I had already gone to God with this. You hadn't gone to God with this. Like you still needed time to go to God and say, hey, what are we supposed to be doing here, So, and I didn't know that.
Right.
I thought.
It's
like I woke up. Let's go.
And as you can tell, somebody tends to be more like that in the morning.
Oh yeah,
wake
without
up, let's
coffee.
go. And if those who start slow, there's a couple of us in our household, and that don't live here now, but there's some other ones that one of our daughters is a slow starter too, and mom's like, hey, let's go, and her and I look at each other, and that daughter that starts slow, and we're like, oh man, okay, here she comes.
I think they're both like that, really.
Yeah,
I think they're both, all three.
You're the one that kind of is like up and
then
let's
by
go.
But then at 9 o'clock, I'm like, okay, Mama's got to go to bed.
At 9 p.m.
Bye bye.
The rest of us are like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Anyway, back on track.
So here's a couple of points I want to bring up to that. Number one is, let's be real. When emotions are high, logic goes out the window. Okay? So I wanted to react and pretty much just say, babe, stop that. Don't do that. What's the matter with you?
Pounding on the table.
We've already talked about this. I wanted to start. That was my insight, but I didn't. I was ready to defend myself, but I zipped my lips, and I did throw away the key until he put his arms around me at lunchtime and we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I knew that God had worked with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you, but it's the Spanish in me. So allow time to process gives you and the other person time to settle down. Okay, because I know you were starting to pull back. Your emotions were like starting to pull back, and I was ready to lash out. So allowing that pause allows the person to calm down and reflect and come back with clarity. And it's not about avoiding the issue. It's about giving the other person and yourself space to think thoughtfully and come back without reacting emotionally. And that's really much for me. I'm speaking to myself. Okay. And to anybody else out there that they're relating to. The next thing, here's the tricky part. The time to process looks different for everybody. For me, I need to go for a walk, or I need to pray. For other people, it could be journaling. It could be complete silence. The thing is, processing looks different for everybody. So allow the person to do what they've got to do to process. In the old days, it would take me 3 or 4 days of not touching Michael. I'm so glad we're past that.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what it used to look like, but it doesn't look like that anymore. So if you're the type of person who wants to talk it out immediately, like me, just realize the other person might not be the other person. It's all about timing. So communication is the key. So I've got a couple of ideas on what to say next time this happens.
Okay.
Okay. For us.
I'm listening.
For us and anybody else that wants to listen. Try saying something like, this is for you to say to me. I care about this conversation, but I need a little time to think about it before I respond. That would have really helped me out a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I would have ground the coffee to a fine powder. That's like he did.
Oh my gosh.
Or another thing that would have helped me from you to say to me. You didn't know that I didn't either, but it's coming out now. See, we're still in counseling together.
I was still half asleep.
Next,
what's going on? What, huh?
Another thing that could have helped me.
Yes.
Is you saying, babe, I'm not ignoring you. I just need a moment to think and to cool down. Not that you needed cooling down, but just to kind of come out of my slumber.
Okay.
And remember what we talked about and I'll get back to you, I promise.
Okay.
Okay, that would have helped instead of this.
Instead of this, I'm not ready yet.
Instead of the turtle. And you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Okay. So that sets boundaries. Babe, and reassures the partner that the connection is still safe. Because I really felt like I had lost you.
Okay.
On this investment.
All right.
And I felt like I had to start from ground zero again. But I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Because you just needed time to process. But I'm really glad that this happened because this happened.
Now you got tools.
I got a tool for you.
Yeah.
To help you if this is an issue. So, and this is my last point. Here's the beauty of allowing time to process. It builds emotional maturity. I mean, you must have loved the fact that I didn't scream and yell and cry and slam doors like I used to, right?
Yes.
Weren't you proud of me?
I'm very proud of you.
I know, but weren't you proud of me?
Yes, I was.
No, you don't have to say that to me.
I was Sunday morning. I'm oblivious. I'm just chilling out, trying to wake up, enjoy Sunday, off to church, have a lovely morning. A lot was going on. It was all going on around me, but I...
So when both people learn to respect each other's space, trust deepens. So we got deeper in trust. We got more glued. So that's the beauty of this whole experience. So to start to realize we don't have to solve, this is for me, we don't have to solve the problem right then and there. I don't know where I came into alignment with like, we got to fix this right now. Like, no, you don't. You can have time to process, especially if you're working with another person.
Right.
Or if you need to reach out to other people and kind of gather information.
Yeah, yeah.
So in closing, are you ready for the landing? So in closing, so if you're in a relationship, romantic, family, business, or friendship, I encourage you to allow the other person time to process, okay? And give yourself time to process because you may need to do some processing. And do that by pausing, reflecting, and then coming back to the discussion with love, not anger and logic. Don't do that. Just come back with a soft, tender heart like you did when you put your arm around me and I was like, oh, yeah. So why don't you go ahead and drop a comment down below if you've needed time to process or if you've learned how to allow time to process for another person that you love. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you continue getting information on how to build long-lasting, happy, joyful marriage or relationships.
Yeah, I want to hear from you processors out there. Am I the only processor out there? Let me know if you're someone too that says, yeah, I need a little time to step back and process through big decisions that are happening. Not everything, of course.
No, not everything.
Big decisions.
No.
Yeah, and this was not a little, oh yeah, we could just do that. No, this was something that needed to be thought through.
Right, because we had to bring in another person into the investment.
Yes.
That's a little titchy.
Yeah.
But everything was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the inspiration. This is the last segment, the inspiration part. And I've called this, Have the Perseverance of a Giraffe.
Ooh.
I don't know if you know how rough it is for a baby giraffe to be born, but it really is. So
Tell us about that.
Here it is. I already told you. Now I'm going to tell you again.
Tell me again.
And you're going to like it.
I heard it, but I thought, what? Really? That's wild.
I know. It's so wild how this baby giraffe comes into the world. Okay. When a baby giraffe is born, mom is standing. Okay. So we've all seen how high.
That's already pretty wild.
That's pretty high. And she just keeps on going up and up and up. So mommy is standing and she just gives birth. So the first part that comes out is the front hooves. The front hooves and the head. So the baby's coming out like this. It falls 10 feet. How much is 10 feet? 2 meters?
3 meters.
3 meters. Falls 3 meters, 10 feet, and it lands on its back. Ouch. Within seconds, the baby rolls over and struggles to stand up with those gangly legs. Then mom comes over.
And just goes,
wait, no, don't.
Mom comes over and goes, oh,
yeah.
So beautiful. Let me just scoop you up nice.
Yeah.
Is that the truth?
Well, what mom does, I wouldn't do it, but mom does it. But there's a reason. Mom comes over and stands over the baby and looks and goes, yep, you're mine, and kicks it. Wait, so it goes sprawling out, and it's sprawling out. And so then the baby's like, oh, I got to get back up. And so the baby tries to get up, but if it doesn't get up, mom walks on over and kicks it again.
That's wild.
It is wild, but there's a purpose.
It's wildlife.
It is. And when it grows tired of the struggle, she kicks it again to stimulate its effort to stand. In fact, every time the baby manages to get to its feet, the mother kicks it again. Like, why? Her actions may seem cruel to us, but she's preparing the child for survival. Of course, it's a mother's love.
Yeah.
Because unless this little baby calf does not learn how to get up quickly in the wild when it gets knocked down, then it's going to get devoured by the wildlife. And mom didn't go through all those months of pregnancy and gave birth to a baby giraffe to get killed by some lion, okay? So she's getting it ready for a long life. And you know what? Life is like a mama giraffe. It kicks us to the ground. It slams us to the ground. And how do we get back up and press on? Well, the Bible teaches us how to do this. Number one is, I love the Bible because it's just like a blueprint of how we can do our lives. And it is a really good way of doing life if you just read it and absorb it. So in the Bible, God promises us that He has got a good plan for us. Plans for you to prosper. That means make a lot of money, to be successful, and for you to be happy and joyful and not to hurt you. God does not want us to be hurt. He's not there to destroy us. His plan is not for us to be destroyed. His plan is to give us hope too. So when you get knocked down in life, remember that God has got a good plan. Have we been knocked down, and have we gone back to this passage? It's Jeremiah 29:11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been knocked around, kicked around. A lot of different things have happened.
Right. And we get back up. Okay? And we get back up like the baby giraffe, or else mama's going to go and smack you again until you learn the lesson. The second thing is change your perspective. Don't think, oh man, life just keeps on knocking me down. I am sick and tired. I'm going to stay flat and be like this for the rest of my life. I encourage you to change your perspective. I encourage you to say to yourself, this is happening to me for a reason. Why is this happening for me? Why is this happening to me? What?
And that, for me, has been a massive thought in my life that's changed my perspective. Because in a lot of our situations where we did get crushed, I just wanted to lay down in there and wallow in there and just have a pity party and just be like, why is this happening to me? Why am I something wrong with me? Why is the world picking on me? It's not fair, all that kind of stuff. And what I found was by having that attitude, then nothing changed. And I just stayed there. But learning that attitude about, and that's not to say, hey, we don't go through a grieving process, so we do get knocked down and kicked around, but then we learn not to stay down there, because then we pick ourselves up and say, okay, what can I learn from this? Why did this happen? How did I get here? Was it something I did? Was it something somebody else did? Is there something I can learn here? Is there something I can avoid of never doing this again in the future? Or, what has happened here? What can I learn? And when I started to change that thought process, when I was down, grieve for whatever time, then changing it to a more different perspective of, well, what can I learn from this? This has happened for me to learn something for the rest of my life, and that's wisdom. How can I apply this and gain wisdom from this situation moving forward?
So it doesn't happen again.
Or I just learn things that, if it does come at me again, then I've learned how to navigate it and those types of things. And that's what wisdom really is. Wisdom isn't about nothing ever happening to us. It's about how have we come through it, and what have we learned, and how are we going to apply it moving forward in our life. Mm-hmm. So that change of attitude is something that's made a massive difference in my life. And I would say definitely over the last 10 years, maybe over the last 15, but definitely over the last 10 to 15 years, that changing of that thought process has made a massive difference in my life.
And knowing that God has got a good plan, and what are we supposed to learn from this?
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I just had another download about, babe, when we're in that tough time, we can also remember what Jesus said, is that for us to say, I can do all things in Christ who strengthens us. Because it's not us, it's Christ in us. And Christ is God, and he's in us, and he gives us the strength to do everything. Right. But we have to know that, we have to know this, right here. It's got to come right in there when it's happening. And then also, my last point is, when we do get knocked down, is to realize, to put on a different pair of glasses, to realize that this is an opportunity of growth, not an obstacle.
Right.
This is an opportunity for growth. And how am I going to grow from this? What am I supposed to learn? And you know what? I want to applaud anybody who does the hard inner work, because I'm telling you, I know how hard it is to do the inner work, but it's so worth it, because you wake up and you're born as a new person. Michael and I, the way we see our lives right now is that we've started a brand new marriage. Like, I think we've had 4 different marriages. You and I together, right?
Together, yeah.
Yeah, like we've had 4 different marriages, pretty much.
45 years together in many different phases.
Every
marriages.
decade, we're like, okay, let's get remarried and do this differently. We kind of like wipe the table of all the things we've done, and we're like, okay, that's done.
Yeah, because your wisdom has developed to a stage now where you're like, wow, what was going on back there and this and that, and now that wisdom takes you to a new level of relationship life. And if you're not in a relationship, fantastic, that's you going to a new level, but it's just that new level of, okay, hey, we're newlyweds.
Yeah, we are. We have actually been celebrating our new wedding. We are newlyweds as of Saturday, pretty much. When we said, let's just have a brand new marriage. Let's wipe the table and start with our 5th marriage. Yeah. So we're going into our 5th marriage with each other.
And we're not saying that because it was bad or anything.
No, it's just we want to do things differently
because of our growth of where we're at. Yeah, I have a different picture of where it's going to go.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. And we're like, yes, let's do this. Yeah.
I just need to process.
So look at it as an when you get spanked or you get kapowed to the ground, look at it as an opportunity of growth, not an obstacle. So when life knocks you down, dust yourself off, talk to God. Ask God, what do you want me to learn from this? Please show me the way. Listen. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen with 2 ears. And then get back up and just keep on walking and be persistent. Persistent like the giraffe. Keep getting up. Okay? When you get knocked down. And that's the inspiration for today for you. Mwah, mwah. Thank you.
Well, everyone, remember, if you want to learn more about us or grab some of those free resources, you can jump on over to Doctoronamission.com. And if you want to see what's going on with these crazy kids, Michael and Isabel, the MD and Chef team, at Doctor on a Mission is our handle on social media. That's where you can find us daily, having all kinds of fun and walking, and a lot of other goodies that may be happening on a daily basis. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, it is our pleasure, our honor to be here to serve you today. And hopefully you can grab a couple things out of today, and hopefully this has served you well, and just know that going forward, every show, the MD and Chef Team show, we honor you, and we're here to serve you with the best goodies we can bring you. All good?
All good. God bless.
If you're part of that 70% who haven't subscribed yet, well, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can come along with us. Give us a like. Thanks.